Some of the things that can affect the cost of a metal building would include building size and design, quality of materials, wind and snow load requirements, material gauges, roof types, end wall types, insulation requirements, and framed openings. Obviously, a larger building is going to cost more money, right? A taller building will cost more than a shorter building. A simple box building is going to cost less than a more complex shaped building. So when you're looking for efficiency in a metal building, you want to think simple, large, open spaces. So lower quality material, like imported steel, can reduce the cost of a metal building, but it's also going to reduce the quality. Another factor that can affect the price of a metal building is the wind and snow load requirements. Buildings that are closer to high wind areas or high snow areas are going to require more bracing, more supports, and heavier gauge metal, which will increase the weight of the building and also increase the cost of the building. Another factor that will affect the price of a metal building is the thickness of sheet metal used. Yeah, so some of the other building types or manufacturers will use a lighter gauge sheet metal and trim. This metal will be thinner than what we use as far as thickness, and it'll also be less expensive. But the lifespan of the panel will be less as well. So another factor that affects the price of a metal building would be the type of roof that is on the metal building. So for instance, a exposed fastener panel, such as like an R panel, is going to cost less than a standing seam panel. So if you are interested in a standing seam roof, you can expect to pay more for that type of roof. Depending on what the future plans for the building are, we can use different types of in-wall framing to either A, prep the building for future expansion, or B, reduce the cost today. If there are no plans for future expansion of the building, a lot of times we can use a light gauge or post and beam in-wall frame type, which will reduce the weight and cost of the building today. If you do have plans to expand the building on either end in the future, we have to make sure that we put in an in-wall frame in there that can carry the load of the existing and the future expansion. So it costs a little more today, but it sets you up with the ability to expand in the future. And now let's talk about insulation. Depending on what the insulation requirements are for a particular building or project can affect the price. So if a customer is wanting a higher R value, we're going to use a thicker insulation. It's going to cost more for a thicker insulation versus a standard insulation. And now let's go to framed openings. So depending on how many framed openings, framed opening size, this can also affect the cost of your metal building. If you've got a lot of framed openings, it takes additional steel to create those openings so that you can install windows and doors in the walls of your building. I think that it's important that if you're looking to purchase a metal building, you know everything that goes into what affects the price of one. And understanding that can help you make a better decision for your business, your family, or in your project.